Welcome to the Strength Brew Chronicles. Now, this is going to be a podcast for aspiring strength and conditioning coaches, personal trainers, maybe even nutritionists, registered dietitians, psychologists, just those working with people in the fitness and wellness space. But we definitely prioritize a lot of our efforts to strength and conditioning coaches, fitness experts, and so forth, where we can provide you with resources, educational information, professional development experiences to allow you or to help enhance your career journey and just help you be a better practitioner all the way around. So, in this episode of the Strength Brew Chronicles, we're going to be talking about 10 tips for being open to development through your journey. And I'll probably name this episode in something a lot more snazzy, but pretty much these are 10 different items that you need to take into consideration during your professional development experiences. This will help you be a better coach. This will help you be a better or more well-rounded individual, whether you actually take on personal training or not. These concepts apply to you in your specific field. But just from the consideration of talking with potential coaches, I'm going to hone it a little bit more into the coaching space. So the first one, and again, many of these apply to no matter which area you're going into, but as a aspiring professional or new practitioner, number one, realize that you know absolutely nothing. Realize that there is so much information out there, so much knowledge, so many different ways of saying the same thing, so many different formulas, different movements, different tests out there, different just information that you only know this much in comparison to everything that's out there. I want you to first and foremost understand that and accept that fact. If you can accept that you know nothing, hopefully you are willing to take on this very extreme concept called learning. You become more inclined to learn from others when you realize that there is information out there that you need and that you want. So I would say number one thing is realize that you know nothing in the grand scheme of things and that you are open to learning from others. Tip number two is actually accept taking on the opportunities and the experiences to learn from others, meaning go ask other people what they're doing, go observe other coaches, go see what other people are doing. Because really, even the best of coaches learn this through two things. One, self experiment. So going and trying things and then seeing what works, what doesn't. And two, in the adventure of trying things, you try many different things from many different individuals, and your methodology, your sole way of putting things together is really a combination of all the experiences and all the things you've seen from other people. You just pick and choose what works for you, and that allows you to develop your methodology. So, if you want to call it your specific method, guess what? You really took on principles, either well known principles that already exist through science, or many different things you've seen from other coaches. You just piece it together and then slap your name on it and say it's your method. But really, it's other things you have seen, and it's a combination of those. Whether it's trial and error or you just feel like that looks good together, and then that's what you start implementing. So really, I can't express this enough. Go out, volunteer time, and learn from other people. Number three, self-experiment. Run as many established programs as possible. Go find 531. Go find Shaco. Go find Smoloff. Go find these different programs. Find running and speed and agility programs. Find strength programs. Find power and performance programs. Find Olympic lifting programs. Find different programs that are out there that already exist and try them. Guess what? You don't always have to do your own programming. I actually advise going in and out of programming for yourself. Try these other programs, see what works within the program. What kind of principles? Start breaking down those programs. What principles of strength and conditioning of programming did they apply? How did it work? How did you feel? What kind of adaptations did you acquire from that training? Next, number four, train with as many pieces of equipment as possible. as an aspiring coach, and once you are a coach, it's going to be really hard to program kettlebells into the training if you've never performed anything with kettlebells. It's going to be hard to program with sandbags if you've never used sandbags. It's going to be hard to program with resistant bands and barbells and hyperextension or reverse hyper machines to cable machines to whatever. Like it's going to be difficult to program with equipment that you have never used, you've never felt, you've never understood the technique behind utilizing this. And you might be able to fake it here and there. Some tasks, like doing a deadlift with certain equipment, and then you pick up a kettlebell and you're like, okay, I can kind of get away with this. But if you only use barbells, you're not going to know how to efficiently do kettlebell swings or lateral swings, pendulums, being able to hold in racked positions and understand rotational placement. Right? There's a lot of things you won't truly understand from a coaching and cueing perspective if you do not implement it into your training. I'm not saying that you have to do months and months of the same piece of equipment. What my recommendations are: choose a piece of equipment, for instance, a kettlebell. Base the primary tasks, base those around the barbell, and then some of your accessory work, just throw kettlebells in there. Or maybe towards the end doing conditioning work, throw kettlebells in there. That's it. Maybe you do kettlebells for your accessory work, sandbags for your conditioning work, treadmill, rower, assault bike for your cardiovascular or anaerobic capacity work, right? You start incorporating these things so you understand how to efficiently do it. Well, hopefully, in time, you learn how to properly perform the task so then you can cue them through self experiment. So, like I said, try different and train with different pieces of equipment. Next, challenge yourself with various training goals and adaptations. Don't always be the person walking around going, I'm only going to work on strength, or I'm only going to be super fast, or I'm only going to be able to run for 100 hours without stopping. Choose different training adaptations because guess what? If you're going to be a coach and you're going to coach people to be stronger, be faster, be more powerful, to build muscle, you should have done that in some form or fashion or some capacity, right? And it's going to be harder if someone comes up to you and says, hey, my training goals are to build muscle, and you've never actually tried to build muscle before. It's going to be harder, right? Because there's so much that goes into that adaptation. Not only training, the training, the programming, the mobility prior, the recovery after, the durations, the frequency of training, the rest periods or the rest days in between, the nutrition, the fueling, the recovery, nutrition post, the replenishment. A lot goes into training for certain adaptations. And if you've never done that before, if you've never trained for strength and actually challenged yourself in strength programming, you're not going to have that kind of feedback and a lot of information to share with the people you're working with. So I challenge you for you to personally train for different goals. Perform periodic fitness assessments on yourself. So have fitness goals, test yourself to see if you're achieving those goals, to see if your programming is working or the programs you're following are working, but also to give yourself a challenge. Just challenge yourself, right? Be able to have milestones, be able to goal set for yourself, be able to train and actually complete the goals that you are giving yourself. How are you going to, if you're going to give goals to someone else, but the goals you give yourself in a training environment you can't even achieve, why are you giving goals to other people? So make sure you're setting goals, doing periodic fitness assessments for yourself. Next, number seven, watch different people perform the same task. Watch hundreds of people perform squatting movements, hundreds of people performing pressing movements, and so forth. Different bodies move differently. You need to be able to observe various environments, various populations, just many, many, many different bodies performing the same tasks. Now, there's unique ways and variations of different tasks, but you just need to, the most amount of exposure you can get, try to acquire, because you're going to learn so much through just being exposed to the way different people move. Then you can go, okay, watching them move, haven't seen that before. I know it looks wrong. What is going on and how do I fix it? And then you start playing that in your head. And maybe if you're a coach, you can then implement interventions to hopefully fix those muscular imbalances or movement imbalances. But overall, you need to be able to observe and see different people move to build your index of solutions, to build your index of things you've seen. So when someone else walks in and has an issue, you can go, oh, seen that before. I already know how to address it. But you won't know if you have not seen those things before. Next, get good at talking. In general, get used to being able to speak. This doesn't even mean, which I'll go into the next one, this doesn't mean strength and conditioning specific. This just means get good at talking in general, how to have a message in your head and be able to push it out and relay it to others, to share a message. I have a message. I want you to take something out of this conversation. And now I have to put into words to give to you and for you to understand, process that, and hopefully understand or perform what I'm trying to get you to understand or do. So just get good at talking, practice talking, get in front of people, practice talking to groups, to individuals. I would say education is 50% entertainment and 50% education. I need to entertain you enough to listen to me, but then I need to give you the information that I'm trying to get you to understand and learn and then apply. So get good at talking. Number 9, practice cueing, but only with words. It is easy for you to go, hey, do what I do, and you just do it. And then someone's like, okay, I'll do exactly what you do. And then they go to do it, and you're like, no, I don't think you see yourself. And I know you don't see yourself because it does not look like me. So watch me again, do what I do. And then someone does what you do, and they go, hey, I did what you did. And you're like, that does not look right. You have to be able to use your words. Hey, maybe tucking your elbows in a little bit more, pushing the floor away from me, really squeezing your chest together, right? Different ways to verbalize. I need a straight line from ankles to shoulders. That means bring your hips down a little bit, squeeze your core a tiny bit. I want you to relax or retract your shoulder blades a little bit, right? Just being able to use your words. I also want you to practice using words that are both really scientific and entirely not scientific, right? It might be, I need you to hinge and I need you to go through hip flexion. And then as you come up, hip extension, lift your torso. No, I need you to, as you're leaning forward, I need to, for you to show your chest so I can see the font or the picture on your chest as you're leaning forward. I want you to have a flat tabletop back as you're going down. And I need you to stick your butt out, right? Being able to provide different ways, whether it's super scientific or not scientific at all, still the same cues, just different level of understanding of what's going on. Many different times as a strength and conditioning practitioner, as a professional, you are not talking to someone who understands, hey, hip flexion, hip extension, rotation, transverse plane, stay in the plane, get out of the plane. You're completely losing them at this point. Find very simple ways to say the exact same thing as cues. You want to be as precise, the terminology they understand, and as quick as possible. Because when someone's doing an exercise, you shouldn't be, as they are doing the lift, as they're doing a squat, you don't want to say, hey, you need to do this, this, this. And like 5 minutes later, they're like halfway through the squat struggling because you're still talking. Find quick, precise, very, very to the point and understandable cues as someone is going through their lifts. And then last but not least, number 10, learn categories of exercise selection or movement selection, and then program templates. Be able to template a program without choosing the exercise. Just put what you're trying to target, and then the exercises fill into those blanks. You can put various tasks in the same area. So learn categories. You should know, hey, I'm going to train bicep. Hey, I'm going to train pectoralis or my chest. I'm going to train back. I'm going to train lats. I'm going to train quads. I'm going to train hamstring. That is the easiest thing in the world to program for, hopefully, right? The next step is going categories of movement. I want a pressing movement. I want a vertical pressing movement. I want a horizontal pressing movement. I want a row movement, a vertical row movement, a horizontal row movement. If I say I want a horizontal pressing movement in this area, one week I could go bench press. One week I could go push-ups. One week I could go, right? You can fill that in with the exercise you're selecting, but the category is not going to change. You know you're hitting a horizontal pressing movement. So understanding categories, a bilateral squatting movement, goblet squat, front squat, back squat, right? There's various ways to do those things. A hinging movement, a unilateral hinging movement, a step or lunge movement, a drag or carry movement, right? Being able to identify those things and then creating a template for the program. So day one, I'm doing a vertical pressing movement and a vertical rowing movement. I'm doing a unilateral squat movement and I am doing a bilateral hinge movement. Great. Fill in the blank. Put the exercises depending on preference, depending on mobility considerations, right? Then you can fill in the blank. But get used to programming off of categories, particularly categories of movement. Get used to creating your own program templates, because then you'll be able to turn around and break programs apart, be able to dissect a program and understand what they're accomplishing. So, all in all, 10 different tips for you of being an aspiring or new practitioner, a new strength and conditioning coach. Hopefully, you found this helpful. I found this entertaining to record. Hopefully, you found it entertaining to listen to. If you have any questions, any concerns, anything you want me to cover from a strength and conditioning, personal training, professional development aspect, feel free to reach out, and hopefully, the next episode will cover the topic you are looking for.